So our warm-up is over what we did last class. Like I said, if you did not understand your homework, if you struggled with it, if you don't remember what we did last class, we're going to go right back over it now. So the first thing we check for is GCF. And what is my GCF? Okay. And yes, you're correct, we checked for negative in the beginning. I guess before that we should have checked to make sure it's in standard form, but it already was. Okay, so we don't need to factor out a 1. We only factor out something other than 1. Okay, so now we make our t-chart.
Negative 25.
Good, we multiply the first and the last term together, which is negative 24. And we write our middle term, or middle coefficient, which is 5. So we need what multiplies negative 24 and adds to 5. If you are struggling to figure this out, start with 1. 1 times 24. 2 times 12. 3 times 8. 4 times 6. 5 does not work. We're done. Now, because this is a negative number, that means that one of my factors has to be negative. How do I know? So when I add it together, it has to be positive. So is the smaller number going to be negative or the larger?
Smaller.
Very good, smaller. So my smaller number should be negative. And which one actually adds up to 5?
3.
Good, so these are our winners. Okay, so the whole reason why we did that was to replace 5x. Remember, 5x was not doing its job very well, so we replace them with the other guys. 2x squared minus 3x plus 8x minus 1. So you bring down your first and your last, and then you replace the middle.
Why does it have to have x?
Why do these have x's? Because if I add together negative 3x plus 8x, what does that give me?
5.
Right, so I want it to be exactly the same. Otherwise, because what I'm doing is I'm not changing the value of the equation, I'm just rewriting it. If it did not have x, then I'd be changing the whole value of it. Good question. All right, other questions? Yes. We're going to split it up into our boxes, and then we do parentheses at the end. But with your GCF, if I have the GCF in front, let's say I have GCF 5, then yeah, you would have to do like that. But since we don't have the GCF, we don't do it again. Alright, so now we do our boxes. Remember, we have to do a workout.
I have a question. How do you get negative 3 and 8?
Negative 3 times 8 gives me negative 24. Added together gives me positive 5. So the whole purpose of this is to replace my middle term.
That's how you're supposed to do it.
Alright, time to do our workout. Now that we had our tea, we fired the middle guy, we're going to do our workout and box it up. Alright, in my first box, what can I factor? 1. Can we factor anything else? X? Yeah. So left behind is 2x and negative 3. Good.
This is where you
Close your
call
parentheses.
line if you prefer to line.
Yes, what do you mean from factor out? So I look for my GCF of just these two terms. When you take that GCF out, that's called factoring it out. So what we're essentially doing is this divided by what I factored out, and this divided by my GCF. So 2x squared divided by x, 2 divided by 1 is 2, x squared divided by x is x. Negative 3 divided by 1 is negative 3, x divided by x is 1, so just so GCF is what we did that first day, that's what they have in common, and when we take that out in front, that's called factoring it out. If I were to multiply,
one,
what'd you say?
they have 1 in common.
So 2 and 3 only have 1 in common, and then x squared and x have x in common. So that's the only thing I can take out, because I can only take out what's in common. Yes, sir?
Would it be more effective to do 2x and 8x and 3x and 12x?
You know you can do it either way, and you'll end up with the same answer.
Yeah.
So Evan was saying, can we flip-flop these? Because then we can actually take out a larger GCF, right? That's what you're thinking. So you could start off with your 8x and do your negative 3x, and you'll have a different inside, but your final answer will be the same. So either way, yeah. Okay, what must come after my parentheses?
Plus signs.
It doesn't have the same number.
Okay, so now we do my GCF over here. What's the largest number I can take out? 4. 4. Alright, can I take out an x? Nope. Alright, so now my parentheses, so 8 divided by 4 is 2. And x we still have. So again, we're dividing this by my GCF. Alright, negative 12 divided by 4? Yeah, that's the end of my box. That's the end of my parentheses.
When you divide, it has to give you a whole number. Right?
Yes, if it gives you a fraction, you mess something up. Go back. So it has to give you a whole number. Like if I tried 5 here, that would give me 8/5. That's not a whole number, so that means your GCF was not 5.
So if you try anything, it doesn't work. So 1 would work.
1 would work, but we need the greatest compact, the largest number we can take out.
Okay.
So that's why, because 4, your factors of 8 are 1 and 8, 2 and 4. So if I try 8, it works here, but not here, so we can't do that. Next, we try our next largest one, 4. 4 works for both of them, so 4 is our largest. Yes?
What if the square was of the fraction that we don't have on top?
Like if we start off with a fraction here, we won't be giving you guys those. I'm positive. In algebra 2, I'm pretty sure you still don't get it. Maybe for a pre-calc problem, but but you would not have a fraction. What you could do though is just multiply by that denominator and get rid of all fractions.
By the way, guys, with the order thing that Evan brought up, it is your choice on that, but I would like to see you sticking with one pattern. So either do the smaller number first and bigger number second, or the other way around. But if you stick with the same pattern, you're less likely to make mistakes. So get into the habit of doing it one way or the other.
Okay. So now we have to check, are the insides the same?
Yeah.
So all of my insides the same?
Yeah.
What are my insides?
2x, 3.
Very good. So my insides are the same. So that is what I'm factoring out. So we write that first. Now take your thumb, cover it up. I'm gonna take my face. All right, what's left?
Plus 4.
Good. And we don't have to write that one there, so that's. Anybody get at least halfway there? Did anybody actually get the whole thing?
Oh, so you can put the 1 in front of the x.
No, it's not necessary. I mean, you can, but it's not needed. Okay, what are we supposed to do though before we finally put a box around it? Check it. Yeah. We need to make sure it actually does work, because remember, if you check it and you find it didn't work, then you automatically know you messed something up. You need to go back and check. So checking it allows you to know that you're going to get that problem right. So there's no sense in getting it wrong because you have a way to check it. Right, so 2x minus 3, x plus 4, which 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times 4 is 8x, negative 3x, negative 12. You can combine those together. 2x squared plus 5x minus 12. Does that match?
Yep.
Perfect! This is our answer. There we go. Questions on that?
That's clear.
Wait, I have a question.
Yes?
Okay, so Steve had, like, you might on the board real quick, so
This?
no. It's a different question.
What you're going to ask me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so let's say you have 4x parentheses x minus 2 plus 5. So you have to click parentheses.
Okay.
Plus 5 parentheses 2x plus 16 plus parentheses. Okay, for the 2x plus 16, you have to simplify so you can divide it by 2.
So what this tells me is that you did not take out your GCF. You took out a common factor, but not your greatest common factor. So what else could you still take out?
So you can divide both of them by 2.
Right, so you can still factor out a 2. So what's 5 times 2?
10.
So you'd have this then. This would have been my greatest common factor. 5 was a common factor, but 10's the greatest.
So then deal with it in both.
Right, so that means that there must have been a mistake somewhere along the way because your insides need to be exactly the same. And so that's a good check too. Halfway through your problem, if your insides aren't the same, you know that there's a mistake and you know where to check. You can check right. Okay, questions on that? Okay, we're gonna go ahead and do a few more problems, and then once Miss Charlotte checks the homework, then we'll go over that because I think we're still having a little bit of struggles. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna do some more practice with this.
Now we check the work and stuff.
For you. All extras are. You wait. Oh, it didn't hurt. It was like a tap. Oh, whatever. Oh, makes my heart melt. What happened? All right, is there anyone that did not get the worksheet? I'm sorry, Judy.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, it happens every day.
Wow.
It's always the people in the middle.
We'll put it in the board for you. Don't forget it.
What? For always. The same people when I pass out papers. Are you finding it? It's pretty self-explanatory. Look. Algebra 1. Like assignment sheet. Oh.
Use some Ivy. I got some.
Okay. Okay. First problem. Let's do number 1 together. This is again what we're doing is exactly what we did last class, which is also what you did during Stinger yesterday. We're just going to keep doing more and more practice with it.
Yeah, but this one we do need to practice.
There is, yes, most definitely need a lot of practice with this. Now keep in mind, this is a short unit. All we're learning is GCF and factoring. That's it. So we've learned everything we're going to learn for the unit. So today is all practice. Next class you have quiz/review, and then your test is on Tuesday. Again, it's a short unit because it's only 2 topics. We took unit 10, cut it in half. So this is the second half.
Can we do some jumping jacks before we start the lesson?
You can go do some jumping jacks. Give me 10 push-ups and 15 jumping jacks. Go.
Give me push-ups all day.
Oh, no? I'm gonna be jumping there.
You're the one that wanted to do jumping
For the
jacks.
size.
You do the push-ups. Because you know, to do the push-ups.
All right. So our very first problem, is it in standard form? Yes. What is my GCF? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh.
He is not here. Do you want me to hold on to it?
Jumping
Or
jacks?
take it?
I like jumping jacks.
Oh.
Pointless, not
Okay.
doing anything to it.
Yep. Well done, Cordell. Congratulations. Okay, GCF. First of all, do I have a negative sign?
Yeah.
Yes, we must take that out. Next, let's take a look at my numbers. What's the smallest number we see? 3. All right, so that means when I look at my factors of 3, what factors do I have? 1 and 3. Anything else? So we've only got 2 options here. So start with your largest. Is 3 a factor of each of these?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so that's my largest number. What about x? Can I take out any x's?
No. 3 doesn't have an
Very good. No, because 3 does not have an x. All right, so my GCF is -3. Okay, so I need to now first factor out my GCF. My GCF is the conductor of the terrain. Woo woo. Here we go. -3. And again, I like to put brackets, you can put parentheses. So we are dividing each of these by my GCF. So what do we get from our first term? +3 x squared. What about my next term? Good. Plus 2x.
-1.
Very good. Last is -1. We're finished with that polynomial.
I have a
So we
question.
sealed our bracket.
The brackets, when you put it on the calculator, would it change your? Is it the same as parentheses?
Using the same as parentheses, yeah.
It's the same.
It's exact same. Why do I do a bracket? Is that your question?
No, like if I put a if I use a bracket instead of a parenthesis, would that change my solution?
In your calculator, just always use parentheses. Just use parentheses in your calculator. Yes.
So when it's first it was negative, the first one's negative, that's negative. They usually because it was the smallest number.
Yes, so my greatest common factor cannot be larger than the number itself, because I can't say like 6 times an integer gives me 3. So it can't be larger than my number itself. It has to be common, that has to be a factor of all of them. So the greatest common factor of 3 would be 3. The next largest would be 1. So those are the ones I can pick. It's a shortcut. It's a shortcut rather than listing the factors of every single number. If you just start with your smallest number and then look at your largest factor of it.
Let's divide that number by.
Yeah. Divide each one.
Oh my god.
Okay. Alright, Jordy, you with me?
No, he's not. Save it for Russian. Please don't.
Okay. Okay, so now we are going to factor this. Remember, the -3 is just coming along for the ride. So let's go ahead and rewrite. He's just hanging out for the day. Alright. So after we check for GCF, what's the next step? Yes? T-chart?
What, Justin?
Because T-chart allows us to break down my triangle.
No, you got it.
GCF makes it so I have smaller numbers to work with.
Okay, after the help.
Good, so we multiply the first to the last, which is -27. Need to multiply to that. What'd you do? Oh wait! Ah! Wait! No! What mistake did I make?
Plus sign somewhere.
Stay in your phone.
Wait, aren't you
Did
supposed
you know? Did you know?
Yes, Jimmy.
ask that?
We don't want to do the multiplication of the original because we want to do it of the one we already took the GCF out.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, so now when we multiply it out, what do we get?
I need one.
Okay, negative x squared.
Good. Now it's 3 times -1, which is -3. We don't have to take the variables with it.
Negative 3x squared plus 2x minus
You got me
1.
all the way messed up today.
Right?
It's going to be -3, Christelle, but we don't take the variable with it. We're only dealing with the coefficients.
Wait. Why are you making it work?
Because
3
you have to
times
multiply
-1.
the 3 times -1. And the
These are done.
Why are you gonna do the top?
Because we want to, this is a factor, so we have now smaller numbers to work with.
Okay.
So you want to do it for the second step of all. Okay, so then what should it add to? 2. Good. Okay. Our factors of -3 are going to be 1 and 3.
So these.
Now, it has to add to be a positive number.
So, 1 and, oh, wait, negative 1, 4.
You're
Oh,
yeah.
Gotcha.
So it has to multiply to be a negative. So one of them has to be a negative. But which one? Which one? The smaller one, and why add it?
Oh, why?
Well, small one. Oh, wait.
So, because my middle term needs to add to be positive, that means the larger number needs to be positive, because that's going to trump everything else. So, since this is positive, my larger number needs to be positive, so if it adds to be 2, 3 needs to be positive. If you get it flip-flopped, then you'll find it does not add to give you 0. Okay, so -1 plus 3 is indeed 2, so these are the lucky winners. Okay, so remember, I used that to replace my middle term. Okay, so conductor, he's hanging along for the ride. So now 3x squared. What do I write instead?
Minus 1x.
Good, minus 1x plus 3x. So all I did was replace. Don't lose your negative 1.
-1.
Yeah.
You have to add the minus one even though, oh, never mind, because it's a negative.
Alright. Questions so far? Christelle, Jocelyn, focus.
Look, she wanted something. And then I give it to her. Now she's complaining that it's too loose.
Is there anyone that has homework that I did not check?
Alright. So now that we have gone on board the train, sat down for some tea, replaced the guy in the middle because he wasn't doing his job, what's next? Yeah, now we have to box it out. Alright?
Herbal tea.
What did you say?
The tea chart, so you said we need to drink some tea, and then I said except herbal tea. You started
Oh.
laughing.
That is true. Okay, so again, my conductor's just hanging along for the ride. Alright, what can I factor out of these two? X. I agree. Can we take out any number? 1. So we don't have to write it. So then what's left behind? Beautiful. We're at the end of our box, so we're at the end of our parentheses. And every single time, what must you put next? Okay. I didn't know Cordell could doctor his lips like that. Next box. What can I factor out here? Yeah, just a 1. We can't even take an X out. Okay?
We have to write the 1.
It's helpful because when we do our last step, you'll see just plus nothing there. And so seeing that 1 helps you. Okay, what's left inside? End of the box, end of the parenthesis, and we've got to seal our bracket there. And that's why I like to use brackets instead of a million sets of parentheses.
You know, we don't have that much space.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you.
Oh yeah, you're right. This one's not as good in spacing. I'm sorry.
Yay, we don't get to do it.
We do whatever.
Don't do that.
The next one's actually pretty. Then she moves this. Okay. So now, what do we need to check to make sure we're doing alright?
Check.
Good. And are my parentheses the same?
No.
Good. You didn't know we had twins on board this train, did you? Okay. Remember, our GCF's just hanging out up front. And so our next car, we've got our conductor here. The next car is my GCF there, which is 3x minus 1. And when I cover him up, what's left behind? Good. And so you see, Cindy, that's why we put the 1 because it allows you to see it for x plus 1. Okay. Boom. I guess we'll check this one. You should check every single one, but today I'm going to skip some checking just to save time so we can practice. Okay, just take my word for it. We did it right. Put your box down and we're done.
Wow.
It's gonna take
Wow.
I'll let you do them for me. Thanks. Okay, questions on this? How do we check it though?
Just to review.
Yeah, we want to foil. I recommend you foil your parentheses first and then distribute your negative 3. And that has has to
Wait,
be the
so
same.
so you mean after we distribute just the one in the parentheses, and then we combine like terms, then we distribute the negative
Yeah,
values.
so when you multiply this out, you would end up getting, after you simplify it all, 3x squared plus 2x minus 1, and then you would distribute from there.
What if we do the other way around?
It's true.
You will get the same thing. You would have then negative 9x plus 3 once you distribute this times x plus 1 that you FOIL that. But what I have found is a lot of times students, they will distribute this and drop their parentheses, one that should still have parentheses be multiplied, and thus they end up only distributing their 3. So that's why I say FOIL first and then distribute. Okay, questions on number 1?
Nope.
Alright, so let's do number 2. This is a unique one. What do you notice about number 2?
It doesn't have a
Yeah, there are only 2 terms. Which part of it's missing? We still do it. I have a squared, right? I have a constant. But I don't have that middle guy. Alright, so when you have this, we still do it just like normal. But let's rewrite it first. So 4a squared. How many a's do I have just by themselves? Sorry, let me rephrase that question.
Yeah, one.
So over here I had negative 9x squareds and I had negative 6x's. Here I have 4a squareds. How many just a's?
3,
0.
0.
0, right? It's not even there. So we have 0 of them. And minus 9. I'm going to make that look a little bit more like...
Well, yeah, it has to add 0.
Yes! Very good, Jordy. Okay, so it's in standard form now. GCF? Yeah, just 1, so that doesn't change anything. We'll write down GCF as 1. So let's go ahead and go to our teacher. So there's no conductor on this train, apparently. I'm a little worried about that. Okay, so now, what multiplies to the outside? Negative 36, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 36. And adds to the inside. 0. So if it adds to 0, what do we know has to be true about our numbers? Expound on that, Jordy.
Wait, repeat it again.
In order for my numbers to add together to be 0, what has to be true about those numbers?
They both have to be the same number. And
Same
one
number
of them
and?
opposite negative.
One.
One is positive and the other is negative.
Very good. So they have to be the same number, but one positive, one negative, because that cancels out, right?
Yeah.
If Sultan has 10 cookies and I take away 10 cookies, how many cookies does Sultan have? 0. 1. We have 0 cookies. Well, Sultan has 0 cookies. I've got 10. Okay, so we have to find out what numbers multiply to negative 36 to add to 0. So it should be the same number. What do you think that's going to be?
36. Negative 36.
36, negative 36.
It has to multiply to be 36.
Ooh.
6.
Very good. So 6 times 6 is 36. And we need one of them to be negative
Make it
to make it negative when it's multiplied. And lo and behold, when we add them together, they're 0. Now, let me give you a hint here when you're doing these. Remember that square root thing? Punch into your calculator, square root of just positive 36.
It was to come back. I know.
What is the square root of positive 36? 6. So this is what we call this is a certain type of problem that we call difference of squares. Anytime they're missing that middle term, and it's a perfect square on either end, then you're going to have this where it has to add up to be 0, and your numbers are the same thing with positive, or negative positive. Yes.
What if it was 0a plus instead of minus? What happened to the negative 6?
Ooh, great question. So Jordy said, what if it was this? 4a squared plus 0a plus 9. Then that would mean that it has to multiply to positive 36 and add multiply positive 36 and add to 0. Well, if I did negative 6 times 6, that would be negative 36, right?
Yeah.
Is there any other way to have two numbers that multiply give me 36 but add to 0? No, so it doesn't work, so it's what, Jimmy? Prime, right. So that would be an example of when it's prime. None of my factors, if I test my other factors, 1 and 36, 2 and 18, 3 and 12, 4 and 9, all of these would not work, so it's prime.
If you think about it, one has to be negative and it both have to be the same.
That's exactly right. And that's why it's only for difference of squares. What sign is difference? The minus, good, subtraction. That's why it has to be a negative 9, minus 9, because then when we multiply it together, it's a negative number. You're completely correct, Jordy. Very good.
And just to ask, how often are you going to see primes?
All the time.
One.
Is your test going to have a ton of primes, so all you have to do is write prime, 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 prime?
Yeah.
No!
You will have you will have probably one, maybe two. That's it. Do not look at it and go, oh, this must be prime. If you get prime, go back and check your work at least once. And even on a prime, you should still have your T-chart and your GCF written. Your GCF is still 1, and your T-chart can still be written.
She's completely correct. We need to see your chart that shows none of your factors added up to be your other value unless you know it's prime. Now, if you have a GCF other than 1, so for example, with number 1, say we factored our negative 3, but then the inside could not be factored, you don't write prime, you just leave it as this. Because negative 3 is a factor, prime means we can't factor out anything at all whatsoever.
So for it to be prime, there's two things. It has to have a GCF of 1 and not have a number on your T-chart that works. Two things.
Exactly. Okay, so we found our winners. We sat down for tea, we found our winners because we fired 0A and we're replacing him. Okay, negative 6A plus 6A minus 9. It's so much nicer when that pesky GCF isn't blocking everything. He creates so much more chaos. But then again, he's the one conducting the training, so. Alright. What time is it?
Boxing time.
Boxing time. Alright! First box. What can I factor out? I agree with that. Anything else?
No.
Good. Yeah, they both have A's. Okay, so left and side. And we're dividing each one by 2A. What's 4 divided by 2? Good. And what's my next? Negative 3. Yeah. End of my box, end of my parentheses. Always, always, always do what, Cordeo? What do we always, 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 always have to do after my parentheses?
Plus.
Yes, plus sign. Good. Okay, next box. What's my GCF of 6A and negative 9? C. Tres. Dos A. Menos. Tres. See? See. Okay, are my insides the same?
Yes.
Very good. We've got twins on this train. Perfect. We're going to take those twins out. And what is left behind when I cover it up with mine?
Okay, 2A plus 3.
Good. 2A plus 3. Hey, what do you notice about your final factored answer?
Just the negative and the plus sign.
Yeah! And you should. It's not prime. Prime is when you can't factor at all whatsoever. You're so excited for it. So you should have this whenever we have a difference of squares. You'll notice that we have the same factor, but one's positive, one's negative. If they both end up being negative, then it'll give you a middle term. So I don't know if I've done that. My goodness. Okay. Questions on number 2? Okay. Let's do it to guess something. No, not. Okay, number 3. Is it in standard form? Is it in standard form?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good, it's in standard form. Do we have a GCF?
Yes.
What is it?
1,
2.
2.
Wow.
Can I take 2 out of 2?
Yeah.
Can I take 2 out of 9?
No.
Yeah. No.
No.
Drop that.
No. No.
What's 9 divided by 2, Sultan?
Not, you can't take it out.
Good. I thought you were saying no with a question mark. You said it. You were like,
No.
4.5.
right. So since it's a decimal, it's not a factor. Okay. So my GCF is just 1. Yay, there's no conductor making everything chaotic. Okay. So we have to do our arc teacher. 2 times -4 is -8. My middle term is 9. What multiplies to -8 adds to 9. Multiplies to -8 adds to 9.
-2 and 4.
So let's try -2 and -4.
No, it
No,
won't
not
work.
-4. I said just 2, -2 and 4.
Okay.
-1.
What? Before we take Jobson's suggestion, what's -2 plus 4?
-2 plus 4 is 2.
6.
So
It's
No.
-2. I mean, it's 2.
Oh no, you got it right. I was thinking.
Oh, okay. You're okay.
Oh,
Johnson, what was your suggestion?
Oh, 4 times.
Nothing.
What's 4 times 12?
No, not times. Oh, never mind.
Because we need to multiply.
Because I was. Okay, never mind. It will be the answer of the
48.
9, but not.
You're right. Jocelyn, what was your suggestion? Okay, so we're struggling to come up with options, so let's just work through the list. Start off with 1. 1 and 8, right? Now it has to add to be 9. Do we agree?
Yeah.
So which one has to be positive?
1.
No.
8.
8 has to be positive. Good. So -1 times 8 gives me -8. So what's -1 plus 8?
9.
7. Okay, so 2 times 4, we got that.
Maybe 9 and -8.
It's
10.
10. 1.
-1 and -2 and 10.
-1 and
-2 and
-8?
10.
But
No.
Because it multiplies to positive 8, right?
Okay, I've got the
Ah.
It's 1. It's +1 and +8.
Okay, so +1, +8? But what does that multiply to
Yeah,
give you?
whatever.
8. Brainstorming is still awesome.
We're doing number 3, dear. Okay, so let me ask you this question. Remember, when we are stuck, we go through our list of numbers. We have 1, we have 2. Can we do 3? 3 times anything can be 8.
No.
We've got 4, and we've got 8. It has to be even. So our only options are 1, 8, 2, 4. And we've already looked at our options for both positive, both negative. Do any of them work?
No.
No. So Jocelyn, what does that mean?
Prime.
Good. So we actually have this as prime.
Oh,
Yes, you do.
That one was just for you, Jocelyn.
You listen to.
Okay. Questions on that? All right. Next one.
Prime.
See, now this one I'm talking about. Are we gonna have a million primes, Sultan?
No.
But we could.
I mean, you could, but it's not gonna happen. So let's actually try it first before we claim primes. You must try it before you can claim prime. Okay. Is it in standard form? Yes-ish, no-ish.
Yes.
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 -4.
What are we missing?
That's the
Yeah, it's in standard form in the sense that it has our squared first and our constant. But if you think about the fact we're missing our middle term. So, Evan, how do I rewrite this then if I'm missing my middle term?
25x seconds.
Good.
Plus 0x.
Perfect.
4.
Very good. Okay, so stick in that 0 there. Sultan, why are you messing with your phone? Oh, good, we can just trade. Oh, perfect.
Wait, alright, so you have x squared, where can you pull the other x from 0?
Can I make you 6 please?
Because, Jordy, what I'm missing is that middle term that has the x. So, what's 0 times x? 0. And what's 0 minus 4, which is the negative?
every time we get like only two numbers, we always have to put 0.
Yeah, so whenever you're missing a term, put 0 in place of that term. So whenever it's not there, the only thing you can put in its place is a 0. Okay. All right. After we're done with this, so stick with us on this, and then. All right. Do we have a GCF?
1.
Good. Nothing more than 1. So no conductor in our way. T-chart time. Let's visit our arch. What's 25 times negative 4?
Okay, negative 100. Negative 100.
Good. Because if I have 4 quarters, that's $1. That's how I always do 25.
Me too.
Good. All right, and what's my middle term? 0. So what multiplies negative 100 and adds to 0?
You have an action of.
Okay, this is, I don't know if I can't.
Oh wow, this is negative 10 plus. 10.
Yeah, good. Negative 10 and positive 10.
Oh yeah.
Cordell,
You want to take this one away?
Cordell. Take a look at the board. What do we do next?
It was already loud.
We replay.
What do we do next, Cordell? What's the purpose of this?
I remember
Yeah, but we did that, so now what do we do? What do we do with those numbers? And what is that? Yes, Kyle.
I have a question.
What's your question?
The first one is like negative, and then like when you have to multiply with negatives, and then if I'm making sure.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
And then which one do you know? Like when you're writing down the factors, which one do you know has to be negative?
So we look to see our positive value. For example, with 3 here, since it has to add to be 9, that means the largest number needs to be positive. This is positive, so my largest amount has to be positive.
If it was negative,
Then the largest amount has to be negative. Because the largest amount is what's going to be left over in the end, right? Good question. Okay, so Jocelyn, what did you say we have to do? What's our next step?
Replace.
Good, replace. Replace my middle term. We're going to fire that guy and replace him with our 2 new guys. Minus 10x plus 10x minus 4. Alright, now that we've fired, what's our next step?
Box.
Box. Yep. Alright, Sultan. In my first box, what's the largest what's my GCF? What can I factor? Can you take 10 out of it? What's 25 divided by 10?
Wow.
5.
Good. What happened to the calculator I just gave you?
It's sticky. I'm not using that. It's sticky.
Alright, so we can factor out a 5. Sultan, can I take out anything else?
You can't take it.
Really, both have an X? Yeah, we can take out an X. They both have an X. Alright, so what's left? What's 25 divided by 5? What's x squared divided by x?
Negative 2.
Good. Negative 10 divided by 5?
Negative 2.
Good. And then my x is reduced. End of the box, and in my parentheses. Okay, what comes afterwards, Sultan? plus, now our next box.
10.
Can I take a 10 out of 4?
Oh my god.
What can I take out?
2.
Dos. And in my parentheses I have 5 y X. It's here, is that why?
Yeah.
I always get them mixed up. Menos dos. See? Okay. Are my insides the same? Alright, so we can factor that out. And we cover that up. And what's left?
5x plus 2.
Good. 5x plus 2. Oh, looky there! Same thing but opposite signs because we have a difference of squares. Oh. Okay, questions on that one?
Oh. So with the 25x squared negative 10, what did you do to have the 5 divided or?
So I said, what is my GCF of each of these? My largest number is 5. Because if I
divided by 5 and then it would
Yeah.
give you a whole number.
they both give you 1 numbers. 25 divided by 5 is 5. X squared over x is x. 10 divided by 5 is 2. X over x just reduces 2. If you ever get stuck, Christelle, just take your smallest number and write out your factors. 1 and 10, 2 and 5. 10 doesn't go into 25 nicely, so he cannot work. 5 does go into 25 nicely, so he works. Other questions? You can still wait. I believe in you. Do you know how fast it goes?
Yes. Sweet.
Wow.
Yes, sweet.
It's impressive. It's very motivating. Okay, so let's take a look what number 5 is. Okay, I want you to try 5, and then once you think you have 5, try 6. And I want you to work with someone nearby you, whether it's a group of 3 working together or the person right next to you. I want you actually working with people. Okay, so I want you to do number 5 and number 6, and then we'll come back together and go over these. Number 5 and number 6. I'll let you know. Okay, so when we rewrite this, we have w squared plus 0w plus 49. My GCF is only 1. We want what multiplies to 49 and adds to 0. And we said our only options are 149, 7, and 7. And we know in order for it to multiply to be a positive number, they both have to be positive, or they both have to be what? Good.
No, they have to be either both positive or negative.
They have to either be both positive, that'll multiply to be a positive, or both negative will multiply to be a positive.
So one. So one can be negative and the other one can be positive.
Right, because what would that, when we multiply negative times a positive, that gives me a negative. What were you saying, Jordy, about the yellow sheet?
If you find another 49,
Yeah, you could use your yellow sheet to help you out to find another 49 to see if there's something else. Okay, so when we add each of these together, I get 50. Well, that doesn't work. I get 14. That doesn't work. I get negative 50. That doesn't work. I get negative 14. That doesn't work. What's our answer?
Prime.
Right. Good. Okay. So, good job. I saw a lot of you guys had your chart. Some of you were tempted to try negative 7 and 7, which will give you 0, but it multiplies to give you negative. Okay. Continue on with number 6. Give you about 3 minutes for that one. Make sure you check for a GCF in the beginning. All right, number 6. All right, what did you find your GCF was? 3, 1. 3y.
You're still
Yeah.
Is that the Icariega?
Yeah.
Am I saying it right?
Yeah.
Close.
Yeah.
Tres Icariega.
What did you say?
I tried to say 3y in Spanish. Was I close?
Icariega.
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 Wow, this one with the R.
I always struggle with the R's. Alright, so I'm going to bring along my conductor for the ride. He makes things a little messy. What do we have left inside? Good, 3y squared. Minus 7y.
Plus 2.
Good. Alright, now we go on board this train. Drink some tea. Maybe have some crumpets. Yes, Krista.
Should I, because if we multiply it in y square times 2, with the y power, no.
No, we're doing just the coefficients. Just the
We're gonna put the y back to
Yes. Alright, and I did it again. Should be multiply to 6, add to negative 7. What did we find those two lucky numbers were?
and 7.
Negative 6, please.
Negative 6?
Negative 6, please.
Because we want it to multiply to be 6. Krista, we want it to multiply to be 6.
Okay.
Not multiply to be 7. Good. Okay, so multiply to the outside, add to the inside. Okay, so now these are lucky winners. Again, conductor comes along for the ride. We fire the middle guy and replace him. Like, you get to fire people before you even have a job. Isn't that exciting?
Yeah.
I'm preparing you for the real world. You get to fire
I'm
people.
excited, Miss Wanda. Woo.
Although I don't think I ever get to fire anybody as a teacher. I am not including myself in that comment. Okay, now it's time to box it up.
Wow. Yeah, good choice.
Alright, conductor still coming along for the ride.
Yeah.
What can I factor out?
1.
Anything else?
Why?
Good. Left behind is
3y
3y minus 1. Good. End of the box, under my parentheses, always put a plus sign. You better always put that plus sign. I might sneak up behind you and smack your desk. And then the next box, I don't want you to lose that negative there. Alright, what can I factor out here?
2.
2, but anytime I have a negative in front, I must take that negative with me.
Is that a negative or is it a plus 6 or minus 6?
Minus 6.
So
I must take that negative with me. Otherwise, if you don't take your negative with you, your insides won't match. And that's a good check. Alright, so what's negative 6 divided by negative 2? Close?
3.
Plus 3.
There you go. 3y. And positive 2 divided by negative 2? Negative. Notice now they're the same. If you forgot to take out that negative, you would have had negative 3y plus 1, which is close, but not exactly the same. They must be exactly the same. These are identical twins here. Alright. We have our twins on board, so we can go on ahead. Conductor is hanging out for the ride. Now I can take out my GCF. And what's left behind?
Okay, 1y.
Good. So 1y, which is y, and plus a negative is just subtracting. Check it. Again, for sake of time.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
Oh, never mind.
I will not answer that question then.
Yeah, because I thought you had to distribute and then your final answer is.
Oh, no. I don't want you to distribute because factoring is undoing your distributing. If we were to check this, we would get on the inside 3y squared minus 7y plus 2. And then if I were to distribute this out, I would get 9y cubed minus 21y squared plus 6. And does that match?
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Thank you. Okay, we're going to do 7 and 8 together. I'm going to have us start off with number 8, though. These are the exact types of questions from that lovely SOL test. Which, a reminder, or maybe information for you, I don't know if we've stated this yet, I wrote these dates up on the board over there. The third quarter ends next Thursday, we've already talked about that, but our Algebra 1 SOL is Thursday, May 26th.
Oh my god.
What?
Which Thursday?
May 26th?
Oh my
The Algebra 1 SOL. What are you
Wait.
I'm just telling you, there's no reason to sigh or be upset over it. What?
When?
May 26th. It's a Thursday.
How many questions are there?
60.
It's too hard.
Oh my god.
Don't forget.
Beginning of the year, I forgot everything.
That's why we're going to review before then. Yeah.
I'm not ready to take this class
That's-
again next year. I'm not ready.
You better not. Okay, so these are exactly like ones that are on the SOL. So let's start off with number 8. First things first, read the directions. What does it tell us we have to do? Shade. We're going to shade the box to choose the expression you want to select. On the computer, you will like click. Sometimes they make you click and drag it. Remember that from previous years? You must select all correct expressions. Okay, identify each expression that is a factor of this polynomial. So what that means is they want us to factor it. Okay, go ahead and if you think you're not going to have enough room, flip your paper over, do it on the back side. And then we'll go back and shape if we need to. So if you feel like you're not going to have enough room, flip it over and copy down the problem. I'll leave it up for you to copy it down. Alright. Is it in standard form? Yep. What's my GCF? Oh, you guys are quick. I agree. So I have 2 hanging out in front. Oh, you know I like my brackets. Alright, what do I have left inside if I divide each of these by 2? 3x squared. Good. No, because the 8 doesn't have an x, does it? Right, but since the 8 doesn't have an x, I can't bring it out. Can't bring it out if it's not there. Alright, so then minus... The fact that we could bring out this... What is this guy called? And GCF stands for greatest common factor. So is that a factor? Yes, so we can shade it. We already have one of our answers. Look, we've already got one of them. Alright, now we have to find the rest of them. Okay, T-chart time. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. And 4. What 2 numbers multiply to negative 12 and add to 4? Well, let's go down the line.
3.
1 and 12. 2 and 6.
3 and 4.
3 and 4. Okay? It has to multiply be negative, so one of my numbers has to be negative. The small one, good. Because my overall has to add to be positive, so the bigger number has to be positive. So which one works? Negative 1 and 12 is positive 11. Negative 2 and 6 is positive 4. And negative 3 and 4 is positive 1. Oh, looky here. That works. So these are my lucky answers. Okay? That conductor's still in our way. That's alright. Fire the middle guy. Replace him with negative 2x plus 6x minus 4. Okay. Now it's time to box it up. 2 still hanging out. What can I take out?
X.
1x.
1x.
1
Uno X.
3x.
3X.
Yeah.
Menos 2. Seal your parentheses. Always put a plus sign. Next box.
2.
2. Did I hear 2?
Yeah.
Good. Dos. Parentheses, because I don't know how to say it in Spanish.
Same paréntesis.
What is it?
Paréntesis.
Oh, perfect! I know how to say it in Spanish. Dos parentheses. 3X menos 2 parentheses. Bracketa. What's bracket? Oh, really? Yes. All right. Are my insides the same?
Yeah.
Good. So my conductor's hanging out. Then my insides. And what's left behind?
X plus 2.
X plus 2. Okay, so we already shaded my 2, right? Do we see 3x minus 2?
Yes.
Do we see x plus 2?
Yes.
There you go. Got our answer. Good money. Questions on that?
Yeah.
Okay, finally our last one.
No.
Oh, sorry. You have a question.
Where'd you get the S from?
Which x? This one?
The two, yeah.
So in my first box, I look for my GCF. Do I have a GCF of my numbers?
Oh, no.
So I can only take out the x.
Wait, so the answer is those 3?
Where?
Each of these is a factor. Factor means it's something that's multiplied, so multiplication, multiplication.
Wait, so then how'd you get X plus 2?
So after I factor out my 3x minus 2 is what's left, x plus 2. Because my 2 drops, my GCF drops down. Then my 3x minus 2 is what stays the same.
Oh, no, I got you. Okay.
Other questions? Okay, I'm so excited for this last one. Okay.
It's G.
Do we have a GCF?
Yes.
Well, it's just 1, right? There's nothing bigger than 1.
Oh, yes.
Uno.
Okay. Multiplies to negative 60, adds to negative 11. First times the last.
4 minus 15.
Thank you, Jocelyn. 4 and negative 15. Of course, you can check 1 and 60, 2 and 30, 3 and 20. But thank you, Jocelyn, for getting us partway there.
Yeah.
Fire your middle guy and replace him with our 2 new guys. Alright, box it up.
5 minutes left.
What can I factor out here?
4 minutes left.
2 and good. We have left behind 3
M
M
plus 2.
y
Plus 2.
2 M parentheses.
Wait, how is there an M if you're dividing by 2 and wouldn't the M?
Oh, you're right. Thank you for catching my mistake.
Good job, Cindy.
Okay.
And Jocelyn, you even said only dos. Sorry, I was just really working on my sketch. Alright, next. Oh, always put a plus sign. How do you say name?
Más 5.
Más cinco?
5.
Más cinco?
Más, no, minus.
Like
M-A-S.
más cinco?
Plus 5.
Oh, how do we say negative 5?
Negativo 5.
Negativo cinco!
Wait, why?
Because there's a negative in front. You have to take out that negative, otherwise it's going to be a negative here and it won't match.
Yes.
3 M
Más
menos 2
No, más 2.
más
Yes.
2.
Menos
Ah, see?
That's G.
Más 2. So plus 2. Close your parentheses. Insides are the same.
Yeah. 3 más 2.
And then what's left behind?
Negativo 5.
Alright, which one's up here?
D.
You were right, Jordy. Alright, I'm gonna pass out your homework to you. Remember again, we do have a quiz next class, and it's gonna be review for your test.
Do you need help? Do I need help?
Sure.
You can ask.
You should.
I'll participate. I'll do last time.
So your homework is worksheet
Tarea.
7. There's more space on this. I spaced it out. La tarea es número 7. Anybody else? Anybody else? Remember, tomorrow is Thursday. There's Math Honor Society tutoring, as well as Mr. and I will be here after school. It's your last late bus day before the test. So come see us.
Wow.
Tomorrow, right?
Good. Here.